Hello everyone, this is Dr. A classes for BTech students. This lesson covers the discussion on the forces shaping the Earth's surface. It is designed to provide BTech civil engineering students the essential geological knowledge. Learning objectives of the course is explaining the process of weathering, erosion, and deposition that shape Earth's surface, defining and differentiating between weathering, erosion, and deposition, describing the formation of different landforms, understanding how water, wind, ice, that is glaciers, and gravity contribute to the transportation of weathered material, discussing the impact of human activities on weathering, erosion, and deposition. What is physical geology? Physical geology deals with the various processes of physical agents such as wind, water, glacier, and sea waves. It reveals constructive and destructive processes of physical agents. It helps in studying the effects of physical agents which go on modifying the surface of Earth continuously. The dynamic Earth. Earth's physical features are dynamic in nature and hence have witnessed several changes due to the continuous geological action by various natural forces. These natural forces have dramatically reshaped Earth's surface, leading to peniplanation of lofty mountains and the formation of new mountains, plateaus, valleys, rivers, lakes, glaciers, and volcanoes. Earth's landscape is constantly evolving as the forces that bring about such changes are continuously been shaping new features and altering existing ones. Geologic evidences. There are several examples of changes brought about by these natural forces such as submergence of lands that have been converted into sea. Many ancient cities that were once inhabited by humans are found in depth of oceans and seas. Emergence of mountains due to the orogenic movement, upheaval of the sea floor takes place, forming many of the gigantic mountains. Occurrences of marine fossilized life forms on the summit of hills, clearly suggesting that the area must have been part of the sea floor. Excavation of valleys by running water. Water flowing from the highlands excavate valley in course of their movement downhill and wash away loose fragmented material into sea. Changing course by rivers by deserting their old channels. Rivers often change their course over time due to several factors. When the load carrying capacity of the river decreases, it deposits the eroded sediment it has brought from the higher reaches. The deposit thus accumulated diverts the flow of river and the river forms a new course along which it flows. Drying up of the land that were once marshes. It has been observed that many of the wetlands have drying up. Example, Mesopotamian marshes, Sundarbans, etc. are some of the examples. Dry lands changing into wetlands. Dry land which occupy about 40% of the Earth's surface, where ecosystems are water stressed, soil largely are infertile, vegetal cover is less or hostile to existence of life. The changes in the rainfall pattern and other climatic and geomorphological causes, the drylands may get converted into wetlands. Earthquake and the Earth's movements has caused many changes. Earthquakes cause crustal deformation, shaking, and the Earth movement, which may close up springs and form new springs. External and internal geological forces. The Earth's surface is constantly evolving due to the interplay of internal and external geological forces. Endogenetic or internal forces driven by heat and energy within the Earth, example plate tectonics, volcanism, earthquakes. Exogenetic or external forces powered by energy from the sun and gravity, example, weathering, erosion, deposition. These forces work together to create diverse landscapes, including mountains, hills, plateaus, plains, cliffs, and valley we see today. Earth's processes. Earth's processes refer to the dynamic systems and activities that shape the planet's surface, atmosphere, and interior. These can be categorized into external and internal processes. Internal processes driven by Earth's internal forces. Such processes include movement of tectonic plates, volcanism, earthquakes, and mountain building orogeny. External processes driven by Earth's external forces. It include weathering, erosion, transportation, deposition, sedimentation, glaciation, and mass wasting. Internal geological forces. The endogenetic forces that originate from within the Earth itself. These forces are responsible for shaping the Earth's surface from the inside out. These forces are plate tectonics, the movement of large sections of the Earth's crust leading to earthquakes, volcanoes, and mountain building. Magmatism, the process involved in the formation and movement of magma, which is molten rock material within the Earth. Tectonic uplift, the vertical movement of Earth's crust which can create mountains and plateaus. External geological forces. The exogenetic forces are those which operate from above the surface. They try to eliminate the irregularities of the surface through the process of denudation. The denudation includes weathering. There is an in situ breakdown of rock and minerals into smaller pieces. Erosion. There is the process of moving weathered material by wind, water, ice, or gravity. Transportation. This refers to the movement of eroded materials from one place to another. Deposition. This is the process where transported materials are dropped or deposited in a new location. Weathering. The fragmentation of rock starts with the process called weathering, which is the breakdown of rocks or minerals through contact with Earth's atmosphere, biota, and waters. Weathering occurs in situ or with no movement. It can be classified into two categories: physical weathering and chemical weathering. Physical weathering, physical or mechanical weathering involves the breakdown of rocks or minerals through direct contact with atmospheric conditions such as heat, water, ice, and pressure. It includes thermal stress, the expansion and contraction caused by temperature changes weakens and break down the rock. Frost action, when water seeps into cracks in the rocks and freeze it expands, exerting pressure on the rock, and repeated freezing and thawing causes breakdown of rocks. Pressure release, when overlying rock is removed, the underlying rock expands and fractures as the pressure is released. Hydraulic action, the force of moving water dislodges and carries away rock fragments. Salt crystal growth, when salt water seeps into cracks in rocks and evaporates, salt crystals grow, and these crystals exert pressure on the rock, causing it to break apart. Tree root action, as tree roots grow, they can exert pressure on surrounding rocks, causing them to crack and break. Chemical weathering. Chemical weathering involves the direct effect of atmospheric chemicals or biologically produced chemicals in the breakdown of rocks and minerals. It includes dissolution or carbonation. Minerals containing calcium carbonate, like limestone, dissolves in acidic water, weakening rock. Hydration. Minerals absorbing water molecules causes them to expand and weaken, leading to breakdown of mineral structure. Hydrolysis, it is a chemical reaction where water reacts with minerals, breaking down their chemical bonds and forming new compounds. Oxidation, it involves reaction of mineral with oxygen leading to formation of oxides. Iron-rich minerals are particularly susceptible to oxidation, causing them to rust and weaken. Biological weathering, it is the breakdown of rocks and minerals by living organism, plant roots growing into cracks and exerting pressure. Effect of weathering on properties of rocks. Weathering transforms rocks from their original relatively strong and cohesive state into weaker, more easily eroded materials. These changes have significant implication for soil formation, landscape evolution, and the overall stability of the Earth's surface. Weathered minerals exhibit change in the color. They will be less compact and hence their specific gravity will be less. Their hardness will be decreased so that the minerals become softer and weak. They become less transparent or tend to become opaque. The mineral lost their original shine and exhibit a dull luster. Weathered minerals lose their internal cohesion and become easily powdered. Weathered rocks usually appear as brown, red, and yellow color on the surface. Weathered rock. Here are some of the examples of the weathered rocks by different agencies. Weathering has broken down the rock into smaller and smaller fragments, reducing its overall strength and cohesion. Weathering has weakened the bonds between mineral grains within the rock, making them more easily separated. Formation of iron oxide gave weathered rock a reddish brown or yellowish appearance. Degree of weathering. The degree of weathering is controlled by several parameters such as climate, temperature, precipitation, and humidity are major factors. High temperatures and abundant rainfall generally accelerate weathering process. Rock type. The different rock types having varying degree of resistance to weathering. Some rocks like granite are more resistant than others like limestones. Rock structure. The presence of joints, fractures and bedding planes in the rocks can provide pathway for water and other agents of weathering, increasing the rate of breakdown. Relief. Steeper slopes and higher elevations accelerate weathering due to the increased exposure and continuous erosion, creating a cycle where fresh rock is constantly exposed. Vegetation. Plant root can physically break apart rock, while organic acids produced by plant can chemically alter minerals. Time. Weathering is a slow process and the degree of weathering is generally proportional to the amount of time a rock has been exposed to the elements. Erosion. It is mechanical disintegration or chemical decomposition of rocks and their subsequent displacement. The chief agents of erosion are running water. There is the most significant agent of erosion, shaping landscapes through rivers, streams, and rainfalls. Blowing wind. Wind can carry and deposit sediments, creating features like dunes and deserts. Moving ice. Glaciers carve valleys, transport rocks, and deposit debris as they move and melt. Gravity. Gravity pulls materials downhill, causing landslide, mud flows, and other forms of mass wasting. We'll be discussing erosion by different agencies in the next coming uh, presentations. These images display landforms shaped by different erosional processes. This is the example of wind erosion. This is the example of glacier erosion. This is the example of erosion by moving water, that is river. Self-assessment questions. At the end of the presentation, these are self-assessment questions. Go through each questions carefully. Answer these questions based on understanding of the topic. Review any concept you are unsure about. The questions are: define physical weathering. What are the key processes involved? How does climate influence the rate of physical weathering? Provide a specific example. How does the composition of rock affect the susceptibility to physical weathering? Explain the difference between physical weathering and chemical weathering. How does the composition of a rock influence its susceptibility to weathering? Thank you for joining this lesson on engineering geology today. Hope you found this presentation informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel Dr. A Classes for more engaging lessons on core subjects of civil engineering.